My friend, I want to treat you to something very exclusive. I have a massive training program, which is called Presenter Mastery, which will make any presenter into a potential world-class presenter. I want to show you one video from that training. And if you like it, which I know you will, in the description, you can find a link to even more free training. Are you ready? Are you ready? Here we go. Let's begin our Angel's Cocktail journey with the most, by far, important signaling substance to any presenter, which is dopamine. Dopamine is so important that, considering how passionate I am, I should really get a tattoo. Just go like, dopamine. Can we do that, Mr. Editor? Nice. So, what's the thing with dopamine? Why is it so important? Well, for you to understand why it impacts you as a presenter in your meetings, in your stage performances, is to understand that you have two driving forces in life. You have cortisol and you have dopamine. I'll say that again. You have two driving forces in life, cortisol and dopamine. Now, cortisol's purpose is to move you away from pain. That's the purpose of it. So if you get cold, it's supposed to agitate you, make you feel uncomfortable so that you go into the warmth again. Move you away from pain is the purpose of cortisol. Dopamine's purpose is to move you towards pleasure and enjoyment, the anticipation of enjoyment. Whenever you feel that you desire or want something in life, dopamine will be the culprit. Having a look at a presenter which is driven by cortisol, they will usually talk too fast, reduce their pauses. They've got way too many R's. They keep pacing backwards and forwards on stage like they actually want to run away. They'll jump slides. They'll jump over content. They'll keep it as short as possible because the cortisol is signaling to their brain, run away, we don't want to be here. Why did you put us through this? You don't want that driving force in any presentation. Whilst a person with dopamine has these benefits, it increases focus, it increases motivation, it increases drive, and it gets you the possibility of unlimited access to your memory, which allows you to remember what you wanted to say. Do you see the difference? The difference is astounding. So the question then is, how do we add dopamine to your Angel's Cocktail? Can we just get us a bottle with dopamine in it and go like, I'm good and done and ready for my presentation? No. Well, you can, but that's illegal. Instead, what can you do as a presenter to supercharge yourself with dopamine? There is one method more powerful than any other method, and that is to define and focus on your why. Why are you doing this presentation? What is the outcome of the presentation for the people sitting there? What will happen if you fail to deliver this? What will the opportunities be if you succeed in doing this? That is where your dopamine comes from. Give your brain the opportunity of seeing the anticipation of pleasure for you and for your audience or the person that you're talking to. But no. A why written on a piece of paper, a corporate why beautifully put on a wall. It's all rubbish. It doesn't work because it's intellectual. And your intellect does not drive decisions and behavior. What drives your decisions and your behavior is emotion. So what you have to do, the critical part of dopamine, to add that into your Angel's Cocktail as a presenter, is to find the emotional association. You have to make your why emotional. You have to make your why emotional. Even during the period of building your presentation, you will build your presentation 10 times better if you have an emotional why which drives you to build that presentation. Each slide will be more momentous and powerful if it's driven by your emotional why, because you actually care then. You're moving towards pleasure. So I'll give you a couple of examples of mine and my emotional whys. I have one emotional why before every single keynote I do. Like every type of keynote has a different emotional why. So let's have a look at how to avoid death by PowerPoint. One of the largest TED Talks that I've done. I've delivered that talk 1,000 times. And I still remember when I passed that number. I was going to Texas and I was going to deliver the 1,001st version of it, or 1,001st time. I was going to deliver that with the same examples and slides and pauses because everybody loved it. It was a package, it was a product. That's what they bought. How can I deliver that with a sparkle in my eye, with a drive in my blood? How can I do that over and over and over and over and over again with the same kind of authenticity? Well, it's entirely down to my emotional why, which is this. I go back to why I created it, which was in a parent-teachers meeting. It was horrible. Picture this. It's December. It's dark outside. The snow is falling. We're in Sweden. There's 25 parents. We're waiting for the teacher to come in. And she does. She brings out her computer, she hooks it up to the projector, projects a white background, of course, brings out a PowerPoint slide, which could make you vomit just by seeing it. It is filled with text, so much text that you could actually think that that was the background. She then walks to the side where she stands like this, grabs a laser pointer, turns off the light in the room. We can now no longer see her. And the only thing we can see is this massive beam of light coming out from the screen. And then monotonously, by a measure of nervousness, the laser pointer flies around on this PowerPoint, and she speaks slowly and monotonously for 40 minutes. I thought I was going to die. Literally. This is my profession. This was an insult to my profession. But not only that, my brain, my dopamine, it was killing me. I didn't know where to go, but you know what was even worse was that this was my son's teacher's definition of good presentations. But I walked out of there. I thought to myself, somebody has to do something about this. 2 weeks later, I built How to Avoid Death by PowerPoint, the TED Talk, which is now used by schools and corporations all over the world, Yale University, Oxford University, Harvard. That is my emotional why, my friend. So when I deliver this talk 1,001st time in Texas, I go behind the curtains just before coming up on stage, and I repeat this memory. I amplify this memory. I build up anger in my body. So when I come out, I deliver the beginning of that keynote, and it is very aggressive. It goes something of the lines, I build up, I build up, I build up. And I come up on stage and I go, there is a question which has puzzled me for quite a while, and that is how on earth can you build PowerPoints the way you do? Why don't you go, I object, I don't understand, I don't comprehend, I don't want to be in this meeting. Why don't you? Is that an intelligent behavior? I don't think it has to do with intelligence. Maybe it has got to do with vengeance. Maybe you all are going, you did it to me, I'm going to do it to you. I'm going to kill you with my PowerPoint. I'm going to quadruple the slides. I'm going to triple the text. I'm going to kill you, man, with my PowerPoint. I don't think it has got to do with vengeance. Maybe it's just got to do with culture. And that's why I'm here today, to give you 1 hour, one keynote, which will allow you to build PowerPoints of world-class standard. And that's the beginning of my keynote. And I can evoke that feeling whenever I want to by going back to my emotional why. Second example, and last one is, I do a keynote in self-leadership. And I do a training in that as well. And it's a 3-day training, my friend. I have to build so much dopamine every single time I do this, but it's very easy. Do you know what I do? One thing that you may not know about me is that I spent most of my life in a depressed state where darkness was my friend, where I thought that wanting to not wake up in the morning was what was normal, a normal human behavior. Until one day I realized that that was not the case. A year later, I had hacked my own depression, and I started teaching others not only how to hack their depression, but how to become absolutely outstanding, feeling outstanding in life. And whenever I deliver that training, that keynote, I just go back to that emotional why, which is in the border of darkness and light. And I find my why, my drive, my dopamine, and I go up on that stage and I give them everything that I've got, my blood, my sweat, my tears, because those 3 days with me can change a person's life, and I shall not stop until I've done so. You can probably see even that thought just evokes a different focus in me. There are 2 examples of emotional whys. For dopamine, my friend, find your why, find your emotional association to it. We've now come to the end of how you add dopamine to your own angel's cocktail to become the best motivated version of you. But we're far, 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 far from done with dopamine. Oh no. Big part of this training, and a big part, no, I'll say the foundation of all presenters and presentations, is the ability to produce dopamine into your audience. And I'll put it simply, that if you want to become the true Jedi of presentations and public speaking, or maybe even the Yoda of presentations. Me took wrong sword this morning. Me realize, being Yoda, should be green actually. Then you need to be able to absolutely blow people's minds with dopamine. But we're not there yet. We're still working through your angel's cocktail. Let's see what our next substance is.